hit from Imagine Dragons and Radioactive. We are 97.7 The Academy. It's your buddy Con Man, live and loud and proud on a Friday morning. Can you believe it? I got a fantastic guest in here this morning. He's an American television personality. He's a former hedge fund manager. Don't hold it against him. And, of course, a best-selling author. Also the host of CNBC's Mad Money and co-founder of TheStreet.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Cramer.
Well, I have to tell you, Chris, thank you for letting me be on KAFA, and it is just both joy and pride that brings me here.
Man,
salute to the troops.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, where in the world did the idea for the salute to the troops come in?
Well, Regina Gilgan, my executive producer, and I feel that there are people who serve and are underserved by the American people, particularly by the media.
Yeah.
And we believe we can change things by going here to this incredible school. We can show people this place is not only hard to get into, it's impossible to get through because you have to go to school and be an athlete.
Absolutely.
And usually it's one or the other at most of Americans' institutions.
And it's a crazy place, but are you going to go to Annapolis from here? Are you going to West Point?
I went to West Point last year when we saluted the troops and visited the graves of great generals, and it was really incredible to see the Civil War generals.
Oh, man.
Recognize the hallowed nature. But you know what I love about this? This place is modern, 1959.
Yeah.
It is built for the current era of protection. This place protects us, okay?
It does, yeah.
That's how I feel. I mean, yes, I feel tremendous pride, but most often what I think of is thank you for protecting me from our so-called allies, I don't want to get too political, who may be just looking at this place and saying, darn it, they have the U.S. Air Force Academy. What are we going to do?
And it's perfect. Your timing is perfect. We got Monday, of course, Veterans Day. This is just all timely, my man.
How about veterans? How about what we need to do in this country is realize, and I just get this from a business perspective, that we're not patronizing veterans. We want veterans to make our companies great.
Sure.
And that's why I have Kevin Johnson on from Starbucks. He uniquely recognizes that, you know what, when you hire veterans, I know this is going to sound crass, more money per share. But it's okay. It is a business. Right? It's a business.
Yeah. You're always on top of it, though. I got to tell you, man, I don't know much about the financial stuff, but I love watching you on TV. You get that a lot. I mean, you're so entertaining. You bring so much to the table. I love all the sound effects. I love the guests, the interviews. There's so much there. I'm like, this guy has got to have a radio background. He's got to have a television background. And come to find out,
it is radio. Man, it is radio. I did radio for 5 years before I did TV. And you know, Chris Kahn, that radio is story.
Yes, man.
Right? You want to be there and you want to get it. This is here's King. King is they pull up in their driveway, but they don't want to get out of the car because you're talking. Most TV people are on TV because they say, I'm on TV, look at me.
Yeah.
No, radio teaches you, I'm on radio, and can I compel you to listen?
You bet.
And that's what I do. And that's why radio is such a great proving ground for me.
Well, and the charisma, you really have to have an extended amount of charisma through this little microphone, much different than being on camera where you can sit there and look pretty. But radio's a little different animal, isn't it?
I always felt that it was whole cloth. I never once in all the shows I did felt like I was wearing any clothes. I always felt like I'm naked as a jaybird and I'm creating things. On TV, no, there's all these people making you look good and you can run around, whatever. On radio, it's just you and this thing in front of you.
Yeah.
And millions listening to you, and all you can think of is like, I got to come up with something that's interesting. TV, it's like, okay, between commercials, what do we got?
Yeah.
Now, I pride us in our show unit for taking what radio taught us and turning it into TV. As you can see, our set looks like a radio set.
It feels like it.
And what we do, and that's what you know is so important, is we interact.
Yeah.
Why? Because we know the people are smarter than we are, and we learn from them as much as we teach them.
Absolutely. So, Jim, I had to ask you, man, you know, all of us growing up back in the day, we all aspired to be certain things, an astronaut, whatever, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever. But and tell me if I'm wrong here, but I heard a story that back in the day, you really got into stocks in the 4th grade.
Yeah, I mean, I crushed it. I had Xerox. Zenith was good right then. But Lockheed represented good value. A lot of the companies that were in initial computing, IBM, good. Even then, the auto stocks weren't that good. They were better for yield. I was a junkie for it. 3M was my biggest recommendation in 4th grade, and I crushed it.
That's crazy, man. So who got you into it? Was your dad sitting around looking at the Wall Street Journal, and you're like, yeah, man, I'm
the
into
Evening
this?
Bulletin, I'm from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I played for Comcast. And what happened is I always wanted the sports section, okay? My father would not give me the sports section. He gave me the business section of the Philadelphia Bulletin, and he said, make sense of this. I want these little lines and all those different things, low agate, small agate type, 6 agate and 7. He said, I want you to make sense of this. I used to go to the baseball averages. He said, what good does that do? How does that help our family if you know exactly what Johnny Callison's batting average is? I want to know what stocks to buy. And then my father ended up buying stocks that he got tips from. Tips are for waiters. My father lost almost everything we had on a stock called National Video. Now, I'm not one of those, but you notice how all the politicians say they're from a humble background? That's nonsense. We didn't start from a humble background. We became humble because of National Video.
Wow. Man, it's just one of those things that, it was meant to be. This is in your blood.
Yeah, it was. I had to watch my father lose everything he had in the stock market. My father was selling carpet then. To realize that I got to fix this. I got to figure this out.
Hey,
I need revenge from all the money that my dad lost in the stock market.
Now, didn't you lose everything at one point in your life? Didn't you get robbed and burglarized?
Of course. I lived in my car, my 1978 Ford Fairmont, which, by the way, undervalued when you live in your car. No homeowners.
Yeah.
Candidly, it's just you and me talking, right? Right? Oh, there's people listening too?
It's a private conversation.
Right? It's just you and me. Okay.
Me and Cramer.
So, when you meet, let's say you're out on a date, okay? And it becomes down to a my place or yours. Well, guess place which one you choose. That was critical for me. I realized very early on that the Ford Fairmont was not. Let's just use the old term. Let's go back in time. A chick magnet.
Absolutely.
Right.
When I see you on camera, that's the first thing I'm thinking. Chick magnet, right here.
Well, that's exactly right. Except for unfortunately now at my age. Chick magnet means I like Tyson Foods. I like the poultry business, and the Chinese are going to let us sell our poultry. So a chick magnet means buy Tyson. Here it goes to 100.
Hey, man, you've done so much back in the day. You originally went to school at Harvard, right? You graduated from Harvard Law.
Hey, I rejected Stanford. It was my backup school. Now I look back and I think that Harvard is like 3rd tier, and Stanford's become the holy grail.
Yeah.
The Stanford people are so arrogant. Like that woman who dropped out, that Theranos woman, Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah.
Sold to you. Sold to you for $0.
You had to be a really cool guy to know in college.
I was cool.
What I liked about
had
you,
a lot of hair, man.
Did you have long hair back in the day?
I had a fro.
Attaboy.
I had the fro. I had a pick. I used to pick it before I went out to parties. I would move it up so it had kind of 6 inches of Sly and the Family Stone.
Here comes Jay Cool.
I was so cool. It was incredible.
And what I like, dude, is the fact that you used to leave stock tips on your answering machine.
Well, how else are people going to make money? When you call to speak to me, you call to find out you should be buying Monolithic Memories, it's going right to 24. Hi, I'm not here right now, but I think you ought to buy People's Express because in this quarter, it's going to be dynamite. Buy it below 9, don't pay above 10.
Yeah, there you go. You are just a walking encyclopedia of all kinds of information.
Well, as my kids say, your dad, you're just a dollar sign represented by a man, and I accept that as a compliment.
Yeah, back in the day, you really got into newspaper stuff. You were working in Florida. You worked for Tallahassee.
I covered FSU, and I know, unlike the U.S. Air Force Academy, you could play sports there and not go to school.
Yeah.
See, because it was a college.
Yeah.
It was like a college.
University.
Yeah, you could kind of pick which you wanted. Did you want to go and play for FSU, or did you want to go to school at FSU?
Yeah.
It was kind of a different thing.
Sure.
I lived next door. This is a sad story, so we're not going to be laughing. I lived next door to Chi Omega, which was the sorority house where Ted Bundy killed those 4 girls.
Yep.
And because I was first on the scene, I wrote, I had very good stories, and I got recruited to cover homicide for the Hearst chain in California. So I covered everybody who died violently for 2 years out in California, and realized that maybe it was a sad beat. If you don't have any empathy, get the hell off that beat, because you really have to. What you're really doing is writing the last thing that is going to be written about someone.
Yeah.
So I spent a tremendous amount of time not being, kind of recognizing what empathy really means. And believe it or not, that job and empathy has helped my career because I'm not as hard-hearted. There was someone recently whom I knew I had to fire, and I didn't have the heart to do it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I just didn't. That's okay. I'm at an age where I want people to do okay, and I try to find them jobs even if I let them go.
Sure.
But I try to line up the job ahead because it's just no good to be heartless.
Yeah, and there's no need for it.
No.
I mean, the world is hard enough as it is.
Thank you.
How are you?
Chris, thank you for saying that because I think people don't realize how hard the world is.
Sure.
The world is so hard that you should be taking into account. Let's say I'm working right now with a guy. He's got a baby, right? And the guy was having some problems, and help him.
Yeah.
He just had a baby.
Yeah.
Help him.
Yeah.
Don't be a jerk.
Throw him a bone.
Yes.
How are you misinterpreted?
Okay.
Does it happen? Does it happen
that's the
often?
greatest question I've had in a long time. Okay, and I'll tell you why. I'm misinterpreted as being a crazy man.
Yeah.
Because when I go home, I drop it immediately.
Sure.
I drop booyah immediately. I drop that. And I'm not animated when I come home. I tend to just say, hey, what's for dinner to my wife, Lisa? Or should we go out?
Sure.
You want to have a cocktail? And, you know, the craziness is left at the door.
Yeah.
Now, I think the craziness, is it shtick? Well, to some degree, because I'm not really crazy. But you know what? I have to entertain to get big. Look what I have to. I'm teaching price to earnings multiples.
Yeah.
You got to come and say, hi, I'm Jim Cramer. And today, I think PepsiCo, I think that's an inexpensive stock relative to the S&P. Chris, that's great. I'd have that show for at least 9 days.
Yeah.
I need to produce a commercial product. But when I get home, if I'm boisterous, my wife says to me, I don't want that Cramer. Go upstairs.
Yeah.
Go talk to yourself. Go look in the mirror and go talk to. I don't want that Cramer. I want the Cramer who's considerate. I want the Cramer who sits down and doesn't tell me what to do. The other Cramer, that TV Cramer, just go upstairs.
What's the wife call you at home?
She has a name for me, but it sounds like she calls me Booger. Not like the guy who does the Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
She was the predecessor for that, and it was because of a spelling error in one of my initial emails. I courted her really hard. I went out with her first date. She despised me. I sent her an email at 4 o'clock saying, give me another chance.
Yeah, attaboy.
Yeah.
Just keep working at it.
Never stop.
Absolutely.
Never stop.
We're hanging out with Jim Cramer this morning, the big star of CNBC's Mad Money. It's Con Man, live and loud and proud from the United States Air Force Academy. We're going to return with Jim here in just a couple of minutes, find out a little bit more about his background. But right now, killer new music from Tame Impala. Southern Colorado's rock alternative, 97.7 The Academy, Tame Impala, Con Man live and loud on your Friday morning. Jim Cramer in the studio. Cramer, my man, so cool to see you.
Well, when I hear Con Man, I think about Con Brothers, which is a very mediocre chain of electronic stores. You need to buy Best Buy right here. I think BBY is going to have a very solid Christmas. I'm a seller of cons, not Con, because he's right in front of me. I'm a seller of cons, and I'm a buyer of BBY, which is Best Buy. By the way, for those who hit the keyboard wrong and they do BBBY, Bed Bath, making a comeback. Buy at 14. New management, guy from Target. He's brilliant. It will be saved.
How in the world do you keep up with all this, man? Are you up in the middle of the night?
Yes, completely.
Always. You're always reading. You're always just sucking up so much information. When you're on the camera on CSNBC, do they have a teleprompter, or is this all information that's really flying off your head?
I write this stuff with my nephew, but it's all in my head.
Uh-huh.
My head is filled with stock symbols. I accept that. It's been the way it's been ever since I did a lightning round when I graduated from law school in 1984. I was put on a podium by a guy who was one of my professors, and we did a 20-minute lightning round. People had to ask for stocks. I had to name the price, and I had to give a narrative, and I got every single one right. I am the David Blaine of stocks.
Man, you're so good at so many things.
No, I'm not.
But Jim, what I got to know, dude, what have you failed at? We've all failed at so many things. And like they always say, Babe Ruth was one of the strikeout kings as well as one of the guys that hit more balls over the fence than anybody else. So a lot of win, a lot of loss. How does it work for you?
Hey, how about this one? Can we be like heart to heart on this?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, okay, I failed in my first marriage.
But there you go. That's a big one, too.
No, it's about as big as it gets.
You bet.
My ex-wife, Karen, and I, then people always say, we're good friends. Okay, if we're really good friends, we still be married.
Yeah.
We were business partners, and it was very difficult when she stopped working with me because we realized that a lot of our glue was that we were business partners.
Sure.
And we both regret it. We both regret what happened. We feel that it's sad. But you know what? Maybe I worked too hard. maybe that's these are always 50-50.
Sure.
You always hear people say, yeah, it was his fault. No, it's 50-50. And my contribution was that I worked too hard.
Sure.
And so that was a failure. And I always tell people, listen, like there'll be people who have women who have babies, right? I say, will you please take the maximum maternity leave? Where we screwed up was I told my wife, okay, you had the baby. Let's get right back to start training. Mistake.
Yeah.
So I failed at something that may be the most important thing that you don't want to fail at, which is marriage.
Well, and that was early. You know, a lot of us guys are chasing the brass ring at that time. You know,
I was busy. You know, my mom passed away. Man, we're doing some real soul searching here on KAFA.
That's what radio's all about,
this is
baby.
Alternative thinking. My mom had passed away. I was very close to my mom. My dad, by the way, was military.
Yeah.
Very tough. And relentlessly tough on me. And I just didn't know what to do. And I kind of made some mistakes. And, well, whatever. I have 2 beautiful kids.
Yeah.
And so it can't be a total mistake. Cece and Em are fabulous. But I grew up in a house where it was a polarized house where I was never good enough for my father. And just true, unfortunately.
Sure.
And it took until when I was 40 before I had rapport with him.
Wow.
And that was done over the Philadelphia Eagles. I bought season tickets, and that's what we did. But we could never talk beyond that because my father was to the right of Attila the Hun.
Yeah.
And there were people who were always right, and it tended to be people who sometimes weren't right.
Sure.
But, so I've given you my complete background, and now, is it, how much are you charging? $395 an hour?
Of course.
And also, are you a pharmacologist too?
Yeah, absolutely,
I can't believe I just talked about this stuff.
Well, I mean, you know, you got your dad. It's hard to impress a solid military man, especially back in those days, you know. But you guys really came together along sports. I mean, sports is a big thing. Didn't you sling something, cotton candy or something for the Phillies?
I sold first. I sold soda for I sold Coke for 4 years, and then I realized ice cream's the game. And there's this level called the 700 level at the old stadium called the Vet. And what you do is you pay off everybody else so they don't go up to 7th level. That's what the 700 level. I paid off everyone else not to sell ice cream, so I had to franchise myself. Early on, monopolistic behavior, not unlike Facebook. It's the way you crush it.
Man, you've done everything from print media back in the day. I mean,
I've never done politics, thank God.
Oh, man, we're going to hold you to that, Jim. Come on.
Never.
Not going to do it.
No. Elizabeth Warren, no, Senator Warren. She's a riot, and I worked for I know people don't think that she's a riot. I think she's a riot. And then I worked for President Trump. I was on The Apprentice. I was one of the judges.
Yeah, that's one of my questions coming up.
And, that was wild. I mean, he gave me far more power than I deserved.
Really? Did you learn anything from him back in the day? I mean, I know you hold your own just fine, but being on a show like The Apprentice with our current president, I mean, the guy is bigger than life as it is. He knows a lot about business, but did you learn anything from him?
Yes, I did. I learned decisiveness.
Really?
And yes, because what happens is that I'm one of those people who says, okay, let's put the legal pad. What's that person got? The pro? What's the con? I will debate. I will think about it. He shows a tremendous ability to make a decision on the spot. Now, I'm sure someone at the Air Force may say, well, hold it, Jim. But maybe it's the wrong decision.
That happens.
The wrong one. But he's never really in doubt about his decisions. And again, that may be what some people need. It's not my style.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of decisiveness. I think we all feel that that's a good quality.
Of course. You know, you give out so much advice on your show. You're so full of knowledge. But I got to know, what do you do when you give out bad advice? Or how do you recover from that?
Okay.
Do you not see it as bad advice?
What I like to do is take some really bad scotch and lie down on a dirty linoleum floor. That's the antidote.
Leave daddy alone.
Yeah, where's that, Kentucky gentleman lying down there on that dirty floor? It's humbling.
Yeah.
Look, it's humbling to get something wrong. Now, I'll go on Twitter, and there'll be people who say I get something wrong, and I'll have to mention, listen, hey, Chief, when you get off your permanent intellectual vacation, give me a postcard. I love, because I'm from Philadelphia, and therefore I've hit people. I love combat. Hey, look, I was at the link with my dad. My dad was 85, and there was a guy behind me wearing a Green Bay jacket, and he was saying bad things about our quarterback, and he was kicking my dad. He goes, that guy doesn't understand. He's in Philadelphia. Someone's going to do something. Someone's going to do something. Someone's going to do something. I hit that guy so hard. What I did was I hit him in the chest, and then he, kind of went down. I hit him in the head, and then I immediately called the security security guard, and I said, this guy threw the first punch. So I am a total Philadelphia.
Animal, no doubt. Did you
play the way we have game in Philly?
Absolutely. And man, you've done it all. Like I said, newspaper stuff. You've done the radio. You've done the TV. You got all these books.
Well, I'm no spring chicken.
No, but my favorite book from you, man, is got to be You Got Screwed.
Well, that was about what happened during the era when people really took advantage of people, and it was a shame. A lot of people didn't distinguish themselves well. One of the reasons why I think that Elizabeth Warren, Senator Warren, resonates with a lot of people is they feel they got screwed. Yeah. And she has antidotes. I mean, she's against the billionaires, so I'm thinking about a new strategy. I'm going to put all the billionaires in really bad stocks so their money goes down. She'll start liking them. Right? Isn't that the trick? The trick to being someone who she likes as a billionaire is to lose all your money.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of guys are giving it away. She attacks them. So I want to put them all in the cannabis stocks. Yeah. And then she'll be their friends.
Welcome to Colorado, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, my. Yeah, here. I mean,
it's big.
Is it the THC? Is that allowed, too?
It's the CBD that we've got in your water.
Yeah. Really? Hey, you know what?
It's CBD, the altitude, man. It's the altitude.
The CBD at CVS, which is at $71.38 as a buy.
That's big.
I think it goes to 80, and ultimately, put a 12 multiple on an $8 earnings power, then I do think you're going to get a $96 stock. CVS, that's Charlie Victor. Don't buy CBS. That's a different story.
Man, do you think of yourself? I know you're a pretty humble guy for a big a personality as you are.
I mean, I'm an idiot. Yesterday, I saw a guy on the street. He goes, "Hey, man, money, make me some money." I said, "I can't. I'm an idiot." You have to be humble.
Let it go. Yeah. Do you consider yourself a mogul? I mean, with all the things that you've done, with all the financial stuff, with the TV, with the radio, with the print,
I run so scared. I'm no mogul. Yeah. Every minute I'm scared. I mean, I pay down. I hate debt.
Yeah.
I pay down everything debt.
Sweating it.
I absolutely. I'm a TJX buyer.
Yeah.
I bought a pair of pants recently, TJX, for $17. They were at Macy's at 40.
Yeah.
That's how you get rich. I crushed it.
Attaboy. You've done it all, man. But I got it. What's next for Jim Cramer? I'm hoping you're going to put out a Christmas album.
Mezcal. My wife is developing a mezcal. She's been down 4 times in Mexico. She's found a source of good liquid in Puebla.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to happen. I have a bar called Bar San Miguel. I absolutely love it. I also have a place called the Longshoreman.
Yeah.
That's Florentine. You're always welcome. These are in Brooklyn. I love hospitality. I have an inn, and I like making breakfast on Saturdays and Sundays. So I said, let's get a bar, which is a good business. Let's get a restaurant, not that good a business. So I like that very much. And I'm also, I have a drug that I'm inventing on that I'm working, that I think is going to help a lot of people. I like to stay in motion.
You do?
Yeah, I'm a motion guy.
How many hours a night do you sleep?
Well, first of all, I didn't used to sleep on Tuesdays. That was crucial.
Just let it go.
Because, you think about it. You still got a lot of energy from the weekend, okay? Yeah. Monday Night Football, I have to do that. I stay up and go to bed. But Tuesday, I always felt was the night that you say, you just skip it and you work.
Yeah.
But now I go to bed at 11 and I get up at 3 because there's so much to do.
Wow.
And by the way, during football season, you have to get up at 3 because, they changed the waiver wire in fantasy football. I have a radio show devoted to fantasy football that I just started. Well, it's like a podcast, whatever that means. Where I talk about, like getting your lineup right. But yeah, I don't really care for sleep. I don't think it's really that special. A lot of people like it. I often ask, what is the point?
Yeah.
Just get it over with.
It's a little overrated, like they said in what was the Patrick Swayze movie? I'll get all the sleep I need when I'm dead.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
I liked Roadhouse.
Oh, me too.
By the way, who was unheralded? Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was my guy because he always had a superior attitude and superior state of mind. Not unlike Mason Storm. Mason Storm was
those movies.
In Hard to Kill. That is a seminal movie. I learned more from Hard to Kill than I've done from almost any movie.
I want to talk to you about Jim Cramer, the movie star, when we return here in just a second. Right now, more great music this time around. 21 Pilots and the Hype. Great band out of Ohio, 21 Pilots in the Hype here on 97.7 The Academy. Con Man flying through your Friday morning. Jim Cramer from CNBC's Mad Money. Everything good so far,
Jim? You're wearing a Ralph Lauren shirt, and that matters because the stock was up 11. When I spoke to management yesterday, it's very, very clear that thing could go to 130. It's around 112 right now. So I think when I look at that shirt, I think you got 20 more bucks coming to you.
Nice. I'm a huge fan of Polo. Ralph Lauren, of course.
The numbers are good.
Their stock goes up every time time I go to that store, Jim.
Well,
That's
there
how
you
it
go.
works.
Well, don't keep my wife away from it. She's the reason why Lululemon had a good quarter.
Hey, I want to talk about, once again, all the different things that you've done in your career, but I want to talk about Jim Cramer, the movie star. You appeared on Iron Man spoofing Tony Stark's company, and that was hilarious to see you show up on that movie.
I had to do this thing where I had to say so because it was going to be a munitions company that decided not to get munitions. I thought the movie would be a loser, so I did it. It was about a minute and a half, and I ended up getting a Stark Industries hat. Everyone else made a minimum of $10,000.
Yeah.
I didn't ask my agent. My agent said that I left 100 on the table.
What?
100 large. 100 large. That's not 100 small.
No, man.
Yeah, it's not like 21 Pilots. It's like 200 Pilots.
So, I mean, you've done other movies since then, right?
Well, I've been
is this something you're enjoying doing, dabbling in it?
I actually was. My best work was done in Arrested Development. Where I said sell Bluth, which was a great call because Bluth was really high, and I got a lot of people out of Bluth at a very good price.
That's a great show.
Yeah, oh, man, they're funny.
Yeah.
They're funny guys.
Yeah, hey, Jim, I can't tell you how much we appreciate your time, sir.
Chris Kahn, it is a delight. Now, see, I came in first, I thought it was Kafka. No, it's Kafa. Kafka, by the way, you can go visit his house in Prague. It's dynamite.
Yeah.
He was kind of a sullen fella.
Oh, yeah, but now talk about turning lemons into lemonade.
Whoa. Yeah, good point. Good point.
Jim Cramer, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Jim, I know you got a really busy day today. I'm going to let you get out of here,
bud. I'm honored to be here, and this is where the action is, and
yes,
I
sir.
love radio, and I love you, man.
Man, I really appreciate it as well. I'm a huge fan.
Radio.
Yes, sir, absolutely, and it's nice to get down to the basics with you, sir. So thank you so much, Jim Cramer, everybody, as we continue with more great music. It's time it's that new one from Houses and Bad Checks on 97.7 The Academy.